happy to be here, and thanks for taking the time. So I'm Matthieu. I'm the co-founder and CEO at PhotoRoom, and at PhotoRoom we're the #1 photo generative AI app in the world in terms of traffic, and we empower every small entrepreneur, every small business in the world to create amazing studio quality photography. So that's the app. We're on all platforms: iOS, Android, web, and API. And really, what's different? I mean, Martin was just before. What we do that's quite different from other research AI company at PhotoRoom is that we are a very user-centric AI company. So we take the feedback from our users and we develop our models, our tech from that. And that's quite unique. And being the #1 in the world for the photo side, we have some learnings from the past year building Gen AI, and I'm very happy to share that with you today. So first, to get into the context, who in the room has ever sold something online? Can you raise hands? Yeah, so that's good for my stats, a lot higher. So more than like 60, 70%. And who has been very satisfied with the photo they're taking of the object? And that's close to zero. So that's amazing. I'm going to reuse that stat. So yeah, you have you have a billion people selling online, 500 million, and today when you sell, that's what happened. What you see on the left. So you have most transaction happen on a mobile phone, and more than 50% of the pixels, as you see, are the photography. So today, commerce is a big photo, a price, and a buy button. And so taking a good photo is paramount for the success of your sale. And that's the problem we solve at PhotoRoom. So I'll start with a quick demo of what we do. And then I'll move on to a bit of our learnings in the past years, and on the past year, just 1 year of Gen AI, it's quite recent. And then share some technical sneak peeks of what we're doing under the hood. So first, with the demo, that's the PhotoRoom app on the web. And I'll share what happens with product photography. So if I drop some sneakers here, I first do a cutout, and then you'll see some of our LLMs plus generative AI models for the image. First, we understand what your product is. That's very important to give you the best image. Then we generate the best scene for you. That's another model. And we render it, like small resolution, and then upscale. And as you can see, it's extremely fast. You can see even the glow of the shoes here, the shadows. And this is, the 4th model. And if you want, and you have some inspiration from an image, you can also start from an image itself or the background. So here it's a basketball court. And, it's important when you sell to have control as a seller, a professional. So you can even get some part of your image that doesn't really match to be changed or removed instantly. So that's like 6 different models we use in the app. And last but not least, some e-commerce sellers, some small business, they want control on their brand. So they want some colors, and they want exactly this color to be used. So let's say this is my color. And I have this, we have a very unique model, which is generative, that creates shadows that would look like a studio shadows, exactly, and that we generate instantly so you can get control. Even generate floating shadows for your shoes, which is pretty neat. That's a fun feature in the product that is kind of my favorite. So here you can see all the generative features, the LLMs that we have in the PhotoRoom app today. Now, that's been in the training, in the building for the past year, and it has a tremendous impact, as you imagine, being the #1 in the photo space on our business. So PhotoRoom, we doubled our revenue in the past 6 months with the generative features. We moved from more than 50 million in ARR, $50 million. But more importantly, users are using us a lot, more than 2 billion images generated, and they increase their sales. So we are delivering value for them, and they sell more. 2x is kind of an average. We have people 10x, 20x their sales using PhotoRoom. And now you even have, that's a new kind of business, you have e-com on Instagram, which is only AI generated. So you have this kind of shops that are new, didn't exist a year ago, to show you the impact of the generative AI and PhotoRoom on the economy. That really, this kind of shop didn't exist before. And to give you an idea, this which image in this Instagram shop is real. Well, none of them. Like all AI generated and come from PhotoRoom. So this is how people are doing. This is commerce in the future, and it's like taking off. It's not actually. It's not the future. It's happening right now. It's present. Now, well, that's a beautiful story. It's been quite. It seems to be like an overnight success. But let me tell you a bit more on how we did it. So that's a year ago when we started doing generative AI in the product, and so you see the growth we have. And now we started working on the generative AI features and launch it. And so that's where the amazing thing happened, or actually didn't. And that's the first version of PhotoRoom Gen AI, and didn't have any impact on our growth. So we got back to building and come with our V2 of our generative AI features and relaunch, and now it took off. And so my point here is, well, it's a new way of building software, but you don't get it right the first time. And we did that and learned it the hard way in the past year. And let's dive into, well, what we did that we learned in this gap between V1 and V2 that was amazing. That changed actually. So 3 learnings on that. Well, first and foremost, so as I said, we started like a year ago. We talked with, we literally, when there was this the diffusion model, we stopped with Elliot, my co-founder, and just here, and we worked on this is transformative. Nothing is going to be the same in the photo editing space. It's the biggest innovation of the year or the decade, and so we need to work on that. And we paused for, we did a hackathon for a week that transformed into actually 3 months working on this new feature. And but that was the right decision. It's really the new way of working for software. It's true for photos. It's true for any software. So the first thing we learned is that speed matters. And our V1 was actually quite slow. So you would put a photo and you would like a product photo. The result was amazing, but you would get the image 3 minutes later. It was extremely high quality, but it took a lot of time. And well, people might not have the exact number, but an average session on mobile is 6 to 7 minutes. So if you take half the time to create just one photo, then people would just drop. So we got back to the drawing board, changed a lot of things. We changed the architecture. We made a lot of optimization at the low level. And on top of that, we really we made it iterative, so you have low resolution, then higher resolution, to get to 2 seconds. So this 100x increase is the biggest reason why we were successful, and especially on the mobile experience, when you're talking to hundreds of millions of users, that matters a lot. And sometimes when on the drawing board you test it, you just look at the final result. But well, if you want to have a product that's interactive, 3 minutes is not acceptable, and it's better to do trade-off or iterative so that it works. And so that's the number 1 learning. 2, we all talk about generative AI, and there's this part of that's called hallucination. So I don't know if you can see, that's a cup that we want to sell, and we asked our first version of V1, can we have a good background for that? Can we have a good scene to sell my product? And well, it's kind of a little game here, but if you look at the images on the right, at the bottom, well, it's never the right number of patterns of lines of different colors. It always changes. And well, it's cool to be creative, but when you want to sell something and you don't want people to ask for a refund, well, it's better to have exactly the same pattern, especially if you're selling, well, anything actually. But if you're selling sushi, if you're selling food and you hallucinate some ingredient, that doesn't work at all. So that's the second learning, is to stop the hallucination. If you're selling a product, it should be exactly what you take into photo, and you need to find a way not to hallucinate. And it goes well with the past talk about how do you check it's accurate. So depending on your users, you need to find the right way to serve them and actually deliver value. Third, what we realize is if you do by scale, and a lot of people here, I'm sure, have learned to write prompts in GPT, in Midjourney. Well, actually, if you go by scale, people don't know that, and we tend to forget it after a few months. People don't want to write prompts. It's just they don't know what to write. It's a white page problem. And so they start with, so we try to find a way to do that. And that's why you saw in the demo, we invented other models that actually help you get that and help you get started, kickstart the creation. So we have one model that will find the caption that would do the description of your product you're selling, and then another one that will suggest the best prompt for what you do. And these are two different models that we optimize and really, well, that improve a lot of funnels, so most of the user can get to the actual like a first result that's really good for what they do. And that's been a major change and major improvement for us in terms of adoption. Right, so we have 3 learnings. Now, what do we do when we go like under the hood? What do we do technically to go further and improve them even more on top of our initial learnings? So that's why we decided to train our foundation model at PhotoRoom to deliver the best images and the best experience for our users. And we did that for 3 reasons. First, we want to control the data. So a lot of B2B and small business, they are afraid of a lawsuit that would happen with training on different images that they don't have the right on. And so we wanted to provide this experience where you don't have to worry about that. And to do that, you need to train from scratch. Second, well, we want it to be even faster. 2 seconds is good. If you want to iterate a lot, it's not good enough. And we have some trade-offs that we can take in the architecture, but that requires, again, to train from scratch. And that's the second reason we're training our own model. And lastly, well, we have 20 million of users that are using the app. And then these users, they provide a feedback on which image works, which doesn't. But we need to go back to the building, the foundation of the model to incorporate these learnings. And that's the last reason why we wanted to train our own model. And it's not done as an experience, but I want to share a bit about what we're doing. So first, this is the GPUs that you use for do that. So you need hundreds, thousands of them. This is quite big to it's actually an industry to get there, and that's why we're here with Scaleway. So that's the first part. And then, well, that's the beginning. I mean, it's like a little baby. That's the beginning of the learning of a model that we have at PhotoRoom. And this is these are some checkpoints of a diffusion model that is learning to draw a bottle of a marble table. And you can see it's getting poetic, but you can see how it learns the shapes on the way. And well, you can see how more accurately it gets over time. And now you have like later checkpoints that you can get from PhotoRoom. That's still early, but well, you get pretty high resolution. And this is an early glimpse of the PhotoRoom AI models that start from scratch. So pretty excited about that. It's coming in a few weeks in the app. So really, it will be amazing. Now, one last thing about e-commerce. One thing is like everything you see on the app, on the mobile web, it's also available as an API. So we have big names that everyone knows, and you can see the logos here that are using our PhotoRoom API today. And if you zoom in on Wolt, which is one of the biggest food marketplaces in the world, well, most of their images now are generated with PhotoRoom AI. So there is trust in the product, but it's also beautiful images that makes more sell. So that's the big win for them. And well, our mission is to power like most of commerce photography in the future. And we're also happy to work with partners directly with marketplaces and e-commerce website to do that. And to show you a bit how it goes and how fast it goes with the Gen AI features now, here's a little video of a famous shoe seller, and you can see as you scroll that, well, this is all the classic product photography, but live, well, you can start to edit and be creative. So let's picture these images on a field track, and this is using PhotoRoom API. And you can also adapt to events like this one, where, well, let's say it's, well, you know, we all know it's Christmas in a few weeks, and live you can replace the background with some Christmas theme, and you can adapt. There are infinite options. You can adapt to your users to the time of the year, and everyone will have a different photo in the future, and that can be delivered through PhotoRoom Generative AI API. And here we go. So yeah, thanks for listening. I hope the learning points. Thanks.